There are two types of Ikigai, and today I'm going to explain the lesser known type that most people have never heard of, but luckily it's the easier one of the two. Haitai! My name is Christal Burnette. I'm the owner of Haitai Corporation and a part of the Okinawan Centenarian Study Center that is run by Dr. Makoto Suzuki. And he's the man who discovered Okinawan longevity a long time ago, more than 50 years ago, and he researched why the Okinawans live such long, healthy, happy lives. And actually, the category I'm going to explain today is the type of Ikigai that these long-living Okinawans have a lot of. They have a very strong Ikigai in regards to this category. So I'm really excited to talk about this category today. Now, if you're trying to figure out what your Ikigai is and you're having trouble, by knowing this lesser known category, it can actually help you figure out what your Ikigai might be. I'm going to explain the 9 characteristics of this type of Ikigai, and by doing that, you're going to be an expert in this category, which I call Little Ikigai. Now, let's get started. Number 1, what is a Little Ikigai? So to put it very plainly, it is the small joys throughout the day. The little tiny small joys you have throughout the day. So I'll talk about mine, get very personal. My small joys are picking out my favorite mug in the morning and picking out the mug that will set the mood for the rest of my day. Another small joy I have is making a cup of tea. I like to drink matcha these days, or maybe other types of tea, but just drinking tea, I love it. I love tea with caffeine. It is what it is. That's one of my small joys. And another example of a small joy is taking a walk. I love to take a walk late in the afternoon. I live in Okinawa. It's very hot, so I wait till the sun has gone down a little bit, and I have the same path I walk all the time. So that's a small joy that I usually do almost every day. That's an example of Little Ikigai. Now, the second characteristic is how many Little Ikigai can a person have? And the answer to that is a lot, like a lot. I'm talking the healthiest, strongest Ikigai is a person who has at least 100 Little Ikigai. So I do something called 100 Little Ikigai Challenge, and what I do is I pick a time and I have the people in my workshop or my students write as many little Ikigai they can in that certain time. So for example, writing 100 Ikigai in 5 minutes, which is very hard because you can only write so fast, or 10 minutes, and try to see how many you can write. And the goal of this activity is not to write 100, but to just get you thinking and see how many little Ikigai, how many small joys do you have throughout your day. And you'd be surprised, there are some people who can only write 5 or 8. So we want to write more than that. We want more joys throughout the day, just in and out, morning to night, every single day, just something really, really small that you love to do. Now, the third characteristic of Little Ikigai is that it is the Eastern perspective of Ikigai. And like I said, not a lot of people know this. So Japanese researchers, let me start by saying the most Japanese researchers cannot agree on what Ikigai truly is. It's very much up in the air, it's very vague, and everyone, when they decide on something, they fight each other. But to give you an explanation of what the Eastern perspective of Ikigai is Little Ikigai. So Japanese researchers will often say it's just the little things throughout the day that make you happy and keep you going. They kind of give you a bit of motivation to want to live. So that is what the Eastern perspective is. Now, not to say that the Eastern perspective is the correct perspective. There's actually the other type of Ikigai that I talk about in my other video. It's the Western perspective. The Western and the Eastern should be put together. We should have both, and because that will create an even stronger sense of Ikigai within ourselves, which can only improve our lives. So no need to fight, but just want you to know that the Little Ikigai is the Eastern perspective of what Ikigai is. Number 4 is the time span it takes to do a Little Ikigai. So, like I said, you have more than 100. So a Little Ikigai takes anywhere from a few seconds to maybe a few hours. So they're really, really short. You finish them within a day. That's why they're called Little Ikigai. They're very little. So picking out my mug in the morning takes like 30 seconds. And then, man, it's finished. I felt that joy, that little poof of joy, that little spark of joy. I don't know how to explain it. That makes me just not happy, but just makes me look forward to the morning. And then the next one is something like cleaning my room. Actually, I'm a clean freak, so this is actually one of my little ikigai. Might not be yours, but I like to clean, say, for 30 minutes and just organize everything, organize my desk and stuff, and that brings me a ton of fulfillment. I love cleaning. It's crazy. That I do in the afternoon, and then at night I go on my walk. So it's something, you could think of it as something to look forward throughout the day. So but they're so short. But you can do them every day if you want, or you could do different ones on different days. That's the beauty of them being so short to finish. Now, the fifth characteristic of Little Ikigai is that you'll find that they're quite common and they overlap with a lot of people. So cleaning, once in my workshop, I talked about cleaning, and then one of the people in my workshop was like, oh my God, I'm the same way. You know, a lot of people love to clean. They like to have organize things and then see that organization and just feel like that fulfillment, right? And I'm not the only person who drinks tea in a mug, right? Same thing in the workshop. Oh my God, I love picking out my favorite mug for the day as well, you know? So a lot of these overlap. Now, not necessarily that, smelling the roses, maybe someone else doesn't care for flowers. It's perfectly fine. But a lot of them will overlap, and you should have at least 100. So they're gonna overlap with a lot of people. So the benefit of this is that you can talk to others and relate with them and discuss them and connect better with other people if you have overlapping Little Ikigai. The sixth characteristic of Little Ikigai is that they take very little effort. So I said in the beginning of this video, this is the easier Ikigai of the two. The other category takes a ton of effort. It's tons of hardship, tons of hills to get over. Little Ikigai, super easy. Picking out my favorite mug, going on a walk. You know, doing what you enjoy is easy. You just gotta know what you enjoy. You just gotta start thinking about it. But they take very little effort and little time and just bam, 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 bam. But that leads me to characteristic number 7, is that the fulfillment that you get out of them is much smaller. Not to say that's a bad thing, but when you have little effort, they're easy to think of, easy to find, easy to do, you're also going to have lower levels of that fulfillment, that feeling of, this is what I enjoy. Smaller feelings of joy. Again, not a bad thing, but it's just a characteristic of Little Ikigai. And this leads me to characteristic number 8, which is the difficulty level of Little Ikigai, and that is, it's kind of a given, the difficulty level is very easy. Pretty easy to figure out what your Little Ikigai are, or it could be. You just gotta figure out what you enjoy. Now, I did say that when I do the 100 Little Ikigai challenge, that a lot of people can only write 5 or 10, but that's because they haven't really thought about what are the little things they enjoy. So it's not something that you have to figure out in 2 hours or 3 hours, which is how long my workshops are, on the spot. What do you enjoy? Write 100 of them. It's a lot of pressure, right? So what you could do is go home and just take a week or so and just look around at your daily life. Go back into your daily routine, see what are the little things that you enjoy. My favorite is when people take my workshop and they say, you know what? I do have a lot of Little Ikigai. I just forgot about them, or I just stopped doing them. But they're there, and I just not pushing myself to enjoy my day, to do these little things. So that's that little turn in the mindset to figure out, hey, I should be recognizing my Little Ikigai and pursuing them, because this is really important for your mental health, and like I said, it's connected to a long, healthy, happy life. And characteristic number 9 is that Little Ikigai are intrinsic. So this means that they're internal. It has the IN in the word intrinsic, so they're internal. So it's less about the objects that you use to do your Little Ikigai, fulfill your Ikigai, find, whatever it may be, and it's more about how you feel inside. So it doesn't even have to be that you touch a thing. It could literally just look at a sunset, and within you feel that, that's so beautiful. The sunset's so beautiful. So it's very intrinsic. It's internal feeling within yourself. So you don't have to depend on the external world so much. So this specific category, Little Ikigai, are much more intrinsic inside yourself. And that's it. Those are the 9 characteristics of Little Ikigai, and these mirror the opposite of Big Ikigai, which I explain in another video. So if you could have both Big Ikigai and Little Ikigai, your life will improve so much. Just life will be so much better. You'll start feeling more contentment. You'll have a better mental health diet. You'll feel that joy of the everyday and the large goal, which is Big Ikigai, in your life. And it just makes, I can't even explain it. It just makes things so much better. And this is connected to Okinawan longevity. So the Okinawans are very good at having a bunch of little Ikigai with no effort. Okinawans did not coin this term. I coined the term Little Ikigai, but if you talk to them, they have a bunch. It just comes to them naturally. It's obvious that they love to smell the flowers and cook a good meal and go on a walk and look at the sunset and look at the stars and talk to their friends. It's obvious. Like, of course they have them. So this is one of the bases that Dr. Suzuki and I use to create this category, because people in modern day aren't doing this as much. And, you know, longevity is the niche these days. So if you are someone who wants to live a long, healthy, happy life, please think of and start working on at least 100 little Ikigai. So if you have any little Ikigai, write them in the comments. I dare you to write 100. I'd be surprised if someone could write 100 little Ikigai in the comments, but that'd be pretty cool if someone could. So if you can think of any, even just one, that's fine. I'd love to hear them. And if maybe you're embarrassed and you don't want to say and you want to show me your 100 little Ikigai, you can send me a personal message. I love seeing them, and it's okay, I'll share them with Dr. Suzuki, who is 92 years old and loves hearing about people's Ikigais as well. Thank you for watching. Bye!